In an earlier module, I was talking about the power of LinkedIn and how you are going to use your activities on LinkedIn to nurture your network. I'm going to say this again. Your network is your net worth in your career. Every job is temporary. There are going to be times when you're unexpectedly going to need to mobilize your network. And what you don't want to do is ignore everybody and then suddenly need their help and be reaching out and that be the first thing that you're doing after a long period of time with them, right? We've got to nurture our relationships. And so the way that you do that today on LinkedIn is by sharing, by serving your network. So the first thing that you should be thinking about doing at all times is pulling together and curating content. And we're going to talk more about that in a subsequent section. But taking articles that are interesting to you and sharing them in your feed on a daily basis is a way to give something to your network. And they're going to see that in their feed, and they're going to remember that you gave them that article and that you commented on that article. And it's a way to market your brand, your business of one, to remind them that, oh yeah, that person's really passionate about that subject, that skill set, that industry. It helps them stay top of mind in awareness. And that's important. You don't want to be off radar with people. So the first thing you have to think about is, what's your strategy? How are you going to nurture your contacts on LinkedIn? How often are you going to post something, and what are you going to post? Very important that you have a routine set to that. The other thing that you have to think about doing is, once you've connected with strangers, you have to get to know them better, right? And so we've attached a template that you can use. Once somebody has accepted your connection request, you should mark your calendar. About a week later, you should reach out to them and say, I'm really glad you connected with me. I see that you're in this area of expertise. I saw this article and I thought of you. So that personal touch of reaching out to somebody you just met and saying, hey, I don't want anything from you. I just want to give you something. You know, the reason I connected with you in my customized connection request was because we share this. So given that, I wanted to give you something else. I wanted to share this article with you. So you can see how grabbing good content related to your industry or your skill set or whatever, sharing it in your feed can also then be used to customize those emails that you're going to send out to new connections. And it's important you do that because they'll likely respond with a thank you and a comment. And then again, later on, you can reach out to them. If you think about it, in order to build a virtual relationship, you have to have a dialogue. You have to find your points of commonality. You have to bond. You have to drive that conversation. So today's exercise, today's milestone, is for you to set up your nurturing strategy. You should be thinking about how often you're going to post in LinkedIn. Again, at least once a day would be the ideal. What you're going to post in LinkedIn, how you're always going to have some new, fresh stuff to share in there. And then lastly, what are you going to do to reach out to your new connections? How are you going to make sure that every new connection that connects to you, that you asked to connect with, that you're proactively following up with them and starting that conversation? Because again, if the day comes that you ever need to tap your network, they're going to go back and look at the conversations they had with you. They're going to go back and look at what you've shared with them, and that's going to help them decide whether or not they want to help you. So nurturing your network, very important. Work on that milestone, and then you'll be ready to move on.